Hello, everybody. It's good to see everybody. So, first, I have a question for you all. So, you all can just call it out, whatever. Um, can inventions change the world? What do you think?
Yes.
Yes. Does it matter where you live in the world? Can your invention change the whole world? Okay. So, first, we're going to read a book about one of the inventions that changed the world. Okay. It won't take very long, so bear with me. It is on my iPad, so I'll try to show you pictures like that. Okay. So this book is called Six Dots, A Story of Young Louis Braille by Jen Bryant. On the day I was born, Papa announced me to the village. Here is my son Louis. The neighbors came, clucking their tongues, whispering, too small, he won't survive. But I did survive. I was a curious child, and my eyes studied everything. I grew strong and healthy, and clever too. At 3 years old, I knew everyone in Coupe's name. There's the picture. But what I loved the most was to watch Papa work. People came from far away to have harnesses made or a broken bridle mended. In Papa's hands, the rough leather strips became smooth and useful, and I wanted to be just like him. But when I reached for a tool, don't touch that, Papa warned. Then, more gently, you're too small, Louis. Wait till you're older. But instead, I took Papa's awl, which is a thing to poke holes in leather. And Papa! He stabbed himself in the eye on accident. My life changed that day. A healer bandaged my eye. Again I heard, don't touch, but the bandage itched so much. I didn't mean to make things worse, but I did. The infection spread to my other eye until I could not see anything at all. My world was dark and dangerous, and I stumbled about the house, banging into chairs, the walls, and the door, and my body ached. But the sun did not come. I sat by the window, training my ears to do what my eyes could not. My family did what they could. Papa made me a wooden cane. My brother taught me to whistle, and when the sound echoed back, it warned me of things in my path. My sister made a straw alphabet. Papa made me leather strips and pounded round top nails into boards. With Mama, I played dominoes, counting the dots with my fingers. The village priest taught me to recognize trees by their touch, and I listened closely as he read from the Bible and books of poetry. Do you have books for blind children? I asked. No, Louis, said the priest. I'm sorry. When I was older, I went to school with the other children. Do you have books for blind children? I asked. No, Louis, the teacher replied. I'm sorry. A noble lady living nearby heard about me, and she wrote a letter to the Royal School for the Blind, asking if I could study there. Finally, a reply came. Welcome, Louis. At the school, a guide led me to the library. Sit here, he commanded. Here it is, he said, and this was a book for blind children. Just trace the raised letters with your fingers. It was a long reach to the top of the page. My finger traced the outline of each letter, just as I'd done with the straw and leather. But these waxy letters were huge. After reading the first sentence this way, my hand was halfway down the page. A few more sentences, and I had to turn the page. A few more, and then the end. Is that all? I asked. One day, everyone had gathered in a big room. Dr. Pinier, that's his teacher, said, a French army captain has invented a code to send secret messages during battle. The code is read by touch, not by sight, so we must use it here too. It wasn't easy. There were a lot of things to remember. Flipping my paper over, I moved my fingers from left to right, feeling the dots. Fall back, I shouted. And again I touched the dots. Supplies arrive at dawn. Yes, the headmaster cried. The others shouted their messages too. How are the messages written? I asked. The headmaster handed me a slate, a wooden frame with a metal piece in the middle, and he said, "Slide your paper underneath," he explained. "Now take this stylus, but be careful. Use it to punch the code in the paper." So that's how they used to write messages. For many weeks I practiced. Even a short message takes so many dots, and I can't fit a single symbol underneath my finger. This code was a start, but it wasn't nearly good enough. We the blind were still held back. So, late at night, while the others slept, I bent over my slate and punched the pages. I tried hundreds of ways to simplify the captain's code. A year passed, then another, and another. Finally, my code was ready to test. I asked the headmaster to choose something from his own library, a book I'd never heard of before. "Please read it out loud," I said. The new code used just 6 dots arranged into columns like dominoes. Each pattern stood for a letter of the alphabet. "Finished," said Dr. Pinier when he reached the end of chapter 1. I turned my pages over, reading by touch, and I recited the entire chapter. "You did it!" he shouted. Word spread quickly. The other students rushed to try it. "So easy," they said, "and so fast. We can read words and write letters just like everyone else." Okay, the end. So I want to know, how did Louis Braille's inventions change the world? How did his 6 dots change the world? Anybody?
It allowed other blind kids to be able to read.
Right, good job. Yes, exactly. Even though he lived in France, people all over the world were able to read and write, even if they couldn't see. So today we're going to learn about other inventions that have changed the world. And to do this, usually we would break off into groups, but today we're not going to. You will need to scan your QR codes. I would like Grace, I would like you to have, let me look, I wrote it down. Grace, I would like you to have Marie Van Britten Brown. Oh, her name is always hard for me to say. Tyler, you have Nikola Tesla, and Morgan, you have Johannes Gutenberg. So the first QR code on the top, that is an article. The second one is a video. You have the choice. You can choose whether you want the article or the video, okay? Then you are going to answer the questions on the inventor information sheet, okay? So you need their name, where they were born, the name of their invention, what it's for, why is it important, and any other information that you think is important. So when you choose their invention, make sure that you choose the one that they are most known for, okay? So I will let you all do that for about 10 minutes. And while we do that, I will check on you all.
How do I scan it?
So you're going to take your phone and go to your regular camera and just hold your regular camera up to the QR code, and a link will pop up at the top and it will take you there. So you can use your regular camera. Excuse me, that was loud. Okay, so usually I would circulate around the room and track everybody and make sure everybody's doing okay. But instead, I'm going to check on everybody individually and see if you're doing okay. So Morgan, how you doing? You doing okay?
I'm doing great. Thank you. I have one more. One more question.
All right. Tyler, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. It's really interesting.
Good, good, good. Grace, are you doing okay? Good, good, good.
I found the unmute, but yeah, I'm doing great. Thank you.
Whenever y'all are finished, you can let me know. Then we can move on. Grace is finished. Morgan's finished. All right. Good. Tyler's finished. Okay, so we're going to change the pace a little bit. And now, instead of working on our own, we're going to have a discussion. So I'm going to ask each one of you to tell everybody what you learned. So Grace, what did you learn about your inventor?
Marie Van Britten Brown was a nurse who lived in Queens, and she invented an early closed circuit television system, which is now home security as we know it. She did it because there was a high crime rate in her area and she wanted to feel protected. And it's important because it helps protect people even today.
Good, great job. So how do you think that invention changed the whole world?
It allowed people from all over the world to have their own security system so they could feel protected.
Right. Great. Morgan, how about you? What did you learn?
Okay. I had Gutenberg, and I learned that he invented movable type in the printing press. He invented that in Europe. And the purpose of that was to pass along information and print more rapidly. And that was important because to learn, pass on information, and share scientific discoveries, he did that using books and computers. Or we do that using books and computers.
Right. So how did the invention change the whole entire world? What do you think?
Well, I think books and computers are all over the world, so that just helped pass information on quickly, and
Right.
it allowed people in different areas to learn the same thing.
Right. It was much quicker because before that, they just wrote books with their handwriting and it was slow and expensive. So because of that, everybody could have books. Tyler, what did you learn?
I had Nikola Tesla, and he was born in Croatia, and he was petting his cat and got some static discharge, and then he was like, "Whoa, I need to study electricity," and he came up with plans for the AC motor. He eventually went to the U.S. to work with Thomas Edison, and he came up with a whole bunch of inventions, but the ones they covered, let's see, the AC motor was the biggest one, and that was for directing currents in motors, and you can still find them in appliances and gadgets today.
Right. So how did that invention change the world?
I think it revolutionized the way we look at electricity and how we can use it in different gadgets. So it put forth, I guess, like a new wave of technology.
Exactly. So notice that these people were all around the world. We had Van Britten Brown, she was in New York. We had Gutenberg, he was in Germany, and we had Tesla in Croatia. But even though they were in those places, their inventions changed the whole world, and that's what we're focusing on today. So my next question that I want to ask everybody is think for a minute about what invention you would create to change the world. Just think about that for just a couple seconds. And if you can't think of anything, think about a need that you have seen and how you would fill that need with an invention. And when you're ready, you can give me a thumbs up. Okay, we got Tyler. Okay. All right. Okay, we'll start with Tyler this time. What invention would you create, Tyler?
Well, the invention I would create is a system somehow to heat up your driveway so it melts the snow on it so you don't have to go out there and shovel, because I've spent too many winters out there shoveling, breaking my back over that. So like if there was something like some chemical or some heating thing we could put underneath our driveways or the roads, maybe it could like heat up the snow and melt it.
I love that. That's awesome. And it doesn't matter that we live in Kentucky. They could use that all around the world, right? Okay,
Absolutely.
Morgan, what would you create?
Okay, so mine might be kind of silly. I really couldn't think of nothing. So what I would do, I would invent something to help just people in need, like the homeless, or I don't know, some kind of invention for them to help them. I don't know. That's the only thing I could come up with. Not very good, but
No, that's good, because what we're focusing on here is not necessarily the inventions themselves, but the fact that it doesn't matter where you live throughout the world, even though there are diverse world communities, inventions can change the whole world. Grace, what would you create?
A robot that would clean your entire house, so I never had to do dishes or clean or do laundry ever again.
Yes, I love that. And again, it doesn't matter if we live in Kentucky, everybody cleans their house, right? If you have a house or if you have a place where you live, you usually keep that tidy. And so that is a great invention. So now I want everybody to fill out an exit ticket. So this has a question on it, and it says, identify 2 inventions. So this should be easy if you use the one that you researched and then one other one that you researched, and explain their importance. So explain how they changed the whole entire world. Make sure that you write in complete sentences, and this should be easy because it's exactly what we just did, exactly what we discussed together about all of our inventions. So that is what we're going to do. And thank you guys for listening to my lesson. I really appreciate it. I'm going to stop the recording now.